What I want to do today is just kind of piggyback off of a post that I made on Facebook a few weeks ago. I had been asked, maybe a couple people had asked me about why I'm doing life insurance now and why I got back into the insurance world after, going down and doing all kind of stuff. And here's the answer. Just going to be blunt with you. I went through a divorce in 2017. I was pastoring a growing church, and things just kind of the bottom fell out. I'm not going to get into the reasons of why the divorce happened, but it did. And that's the reality of it. And going through a lot of different job changes, and I've done this and I've done that. I've cleaned houses, I've cleaned commercial properties, I have cleaned a lot of toilets. And so, after pastoring a good sized growing church for many years, I stepped off the cliff and went from the pulpit to the toilet. And literally, I mean, that's no exaggeration. And so I remember several times, I remember looking back, it's funny, but it sure as heck wasn't funny at the time. But I remember several times thinking, how did I get from this pulpit and all these accolades and all these people love you and hate you at the same time? Not the same people, but whenever you're in leadership, that's just part of the nature of leadership. And how did I go from that to having my face in a stranger's toilet? Much worse than that. Some of these commercial buildings that I was just cleaning and cleaning out toilets. And so, and then, going from cleaning to uh, pressure washing to selling and just all kind of stuff. And then in the insurance world, well, I'm back. And the thing about it is, I have a passion about life insurance. I can do health, I can do life. I've got access to a ton of carriers, and so it's not a matter of can I get you insurance. I can get you some insurance, and that's not a problem. But here's why I did it. Here's why I stepped back into doing this. It actually goes back to my years of pastoring a church. I was a pastor of a couple of churches, and both churches, both circumstances, both situations, both things that I was doing, both churches, I saw the same thing over and over again. And it was, we did funerals. And, there's two things I never enjoyed. Still to this day, don't enjoy either one of them. I never like weddings and I don't like funerals. And the reason that I really grew a distaste with funerals is because the majority of the time, not a few times, the majority of the time, husband would die, husband would leave the wife, children, grandchildren, or by herself or whatever. And she did not have the resources to keep going with the same lifestyle that she had enjoyed for years. I've watched it where wives would have to sell their home. And back in some of those days, we know the economy. I mean, you were upside down, and so we saw things like that. We saw wives having to start some sort of a GoFundMe account, asking the church to help pay for at least the funeral. And what people don't understand, here's the big thing: it's not the house payment, it's not the funeral cost, although those are massive. Here's what's big: it's the medical bills. For whatever reason, I don't understand this, but for whatever reason, people don't understand that when they pass here in the day that we're living in now, rarely does someone pass away instantly and then you bury them here in America. The medical world has gotten way too good. We're able to keep people alive for days, weeks, months on machines and medication, and those medical bills rack up. And I've read some stats, and I'd encourage you to read some stats that it almost looks like this: you can save hundreds of thousands of dollars your entire life, and then get to the end of your life, and if you haven't planned it accordingly with good life insurance, then everything you've built, everything you own, goes straight to paying off medical costs. Well, Doug, I've got life insurance and I've got health insurance. Well, I'm glad you have health insurance. You should have health insurance. Okay, I get it. But no health insurance pays for everything. Okay. Well, maybe a few do. Okay. And maybe you're one of those rare people, but most of you have high deductibles. Most of you have co-insurance, co-pays, and things like that. And then every one of you have a limit on the amount of money that your health insurance will pay. And so that's when life insurance kicks in, is so important to protect those assets, to protect that family, to cover any debt that you already have through credit cards or mortgage payments or car payments or anything like that. There's more to it than just having a final expense of $10,000 to $25,000 to cover the funeral, but having enough money to ensure that your family is not carrying the bag is so important. They have the weight of it. And husbands, men, I'm telling you, you need to ensure that your family is well taken care of with life insurance. My name's Doug. I'm known as Insurance Doug on Facebook. You give me a call, you message me, I will call you back. I will personally. It'll be me. I'll give you a call back and we'll set this up and we'll see what we can do to help you. God bless you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.